Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is letting love in. It should be an interesting conversation. So many of us deeply are connected to our love for others. But when it comes to being able to receive that love, we're not as tuned in. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we get started, let's take a couple minutes to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen lighting you up, energizing, bringing vital life energy throughout your body and being in all your cells and all your organs. And as you exhale any tension, any stress, any negativity or fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And this time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, electrifying, illuminating, energizing. And as you exhale any remaining stress or tension, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just gently press our palms together and very softly rub your fingers against your palms and feel the deliciousness of that sensation. And now just bring yourselves present right here, right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So it's another Monday, and we're going to kick off the week with a conversation about letting love in. And it's interesting. It's come to my awareness for myself, which was very surprising to recognize some of my barriers to really experiencing love, like to imagine that I could be adored and cherished. And I'm guessing that that's probably not something that is unique to me. And obviously, when this came, well, maybe not obviously, but when this came to my awareness, I started doing dedicated work around it. And we'll see how it progresses. But it's interesting because I do consider that I do love and appreciate myself and accept myself. Good morning, Rosalind. We're talking about letting love in, and what I mean, certainly the first step is loving ourselves, right? To be believing that we're worthy of love and to be giving that love to ourselves. Good morning, Lisa. So good to have you here with us. So, but what we're talking about is letting love in from others, like to be able to really receive the love that others shower upon us. And what is it that gets in the way? So certainly self-love could get in the way, but I wonder about this, and I've been thinking about it and would love to engage you in this conversation as well. Good morning, Robert. Welcome. It's great to have you here. We're talking about letting love in and how, people will say, I love you, but do we really receive that? Like, do we really receive that in our hearts? And can we trust that? And what is it that's in the way if we don't? And it's interesting when people tell me I love you, I don't challenge it. I don't. Good morning, Grace Isis. And I love that you're saying good morning, CCs for core connectors. That's brilliant. Thank you. So, and it's great to have you here, Grace Isis. We're talking about letting love in. And I'm wondering if any of you have, if you really look, if you really look, do you believe that you can be cherished and adored? And I guess I'm thinking not just in like a social circle kind of situation, but with maybe with a significant other, or even with a dear friend, cherished and adored, even beyond love. So are there people in your life that you cherish and adore? And is that something that you receive? Do you experience being cherished and adored? And I think that that's what it is. Like when I was looking at being cherished and adored, and if there was part of me that just couldn't conceive of it. And maybe that's a sad state of affairs. I'm doing work around it, to shift that. I wasn't sure if I was going to share the intimacy of the fact that this was something I noticed in myself, but yeah, it's really really interesting, like letting in that someone or multiple someones may really just cherish and adore you. And if you were to experience that, what would be different? What would be different if you felt cherished and adored? So I can say, maybe this is just telling you, maybe you might have judgments about this, but I think the time that I felt most cherished and adored was by one of my cats, actually two of my cats. I They looked at me with such love and adoration, and I connected to it, and I knew it was so, and I opened my heart to it, and to them, and had this really really deep profound connection with them. And I don't know that I've ever experienced that with another human. And maybe that makes me a sad case. I don't know. But I'm guessing that I'm not unique. And I think experiencing, like I experience my love for others, and I accept when people say I love you, I accept that. Um, and there's a matter of degree perhaps between I love you versus you are cherished and adored. So I'm wondering for you, what's your experience with that? I think my my understanding is that we can cherish and adore children more readily than other adults, particularly if they're our own children, that there's a level of love that is unparalleled. It doesn't mean that there aren't challenges and whatever, but that there's a depth of love and experience and connection that may be unparalleled. I think this is an interesting topic because, well, it goes deep. It goes really deep. And so I found it very, very surprising actually to recognize this in myself. To I think maybe part of the idea is that if somebody knew me completely, they wouldn't accept me perhaps. And I'm saying me as a generalized, any of us. I don't know if you experience that. We love, what do we love in others? Maybe it is that we love our projection of others, but maybe there is a place where we can connect heart to heart that goes beyond all the judgments and assessments, like maybe what I'm talking about is true love. I don't know, when we talk, like maybe we think of it in romantic terms, but connecting with a soulmate or to really open our hearts fully to giving and receiving love, and letting love in, like really, really allowing for that pure love in the deepest heart of hearts. So I'm wondering, I'm wondering if this is just my own true confession to you. It's a growing awareness, and like I said, I am doing some work with it because I would love to have that kind of depth of connection in my life. I mean, there are people that I love dearly, and that I cherish, but I guess seeing myself in that role, it's like really experiencing in my heart that I would have that level of love and appreciation and connection from another. It's a little bit elusive. So good morning, Dennis. Welcome. It's so great to have you here. And Hope, good afternoon to you. So good to have you here. And Rosalind says, thank you for chiming in on this topic. I really encourage all of you to do that, because this is like some very delicate ground, interesting conversation, at least to me, kind of a revelation. So Rosalind says, love language to me comes as physical touch, acts of kindness, words of compliment, eye contact, and consistency. That's so beautifully articulated, Rosalind, and kudos to you to recognize the ways in which you experience love, being loved. So physical touch, act of kindness, words of compliment, eye contact, consistency. It's really interesting to me when I was thinking about experiencing the love and adoration, cherishing, etc. One of the things that came to mind was gazing into the eyes of another, and that is a very, very profound way for us to experience connection, to just be gazing into someone else's eyes and really being present. And typically what happens if you do that long enough with another is that your heart opens and you're moved to tears because of that, the depth of that connection. And that may be something that I don't know if that's doable over Zoom, over this period of isolation. Even now that we're getting back to living lives, I wonder how many people really allow themselves to connect on that deep, deep level. And good morning, Bernadette. So good to have you here. So Bernadette, I think I saw that you downloaded the ebook, the Your Inner Success Blueprint ebook. Is that true? And if so, I'm wondering if you have feedback on it, if you've had a chance to look it over. So we're talking about being loved and cherished, and what does that feel like? Do we let it in? do we really let in another's appreciation and love for us in a way that we can feel it? And if we do, what is different about that? What is different about really allowing yourself to receive that? I remember when I was going through a very, very, very dark time of my life, that I realized it only took one person in the world to be loving me, to allow me to know that I was okay. And oh, so Bernadette, you said yes, you downloaded it, but you couldn't see it. So help me out and I'll make sure you get it so that you can see it. I don't know what could have happened, but if you can give me detail, maybe I can figure out how to fix it for you. It's a PDF. So you need to have some kind of PDF reader, but yeah, help me out and I'll make sure you get it. Anyway, yeah, if there's one other person in the world, and maybe it's even a loving pet, that loves you, that you are connected to, that you feel that love from, and I'm really speaking more about myself. When I have that, then that it's almost like then I exist somehow. And it's like being seen in the world gives us our existence. And that may or may not be true. I'm just putting it out there. Rosalind says, when my cat slow blinks at me, she's showing love. She is feral and doesn't like to be held. So I had to learn what she would allow me to do. I love my animals unconditionally. Rosalind, I'm there with you 100%. And actually, I will say to my cat, I love you, and she will blink in response sometimes. And I know that that's what she's saying. And I've blinked at her to tell her I love her too. And that's such a cool thing, a slow blink, as you say, that it's a beautiful, beautiful way to communicate that kind of love. And with a feral animal, for sure, they teach us how to love them, right? Like they teach us how they like to be touched if they allow us to touch them, and they teach us how to communicate with them. So I too love my animals unconditionally. And like sometimes Maggie's really challenging because she bites me a lot, and in a way that's hurtful, like really hurtful. And that, when I first got her, was really challenging because I loved her, and she kept hurting me, like really hurting me, drawing blood and hurting me. So there are ups and downs, and through that, despite that, I still love her. So Bernadette says it came in Dropbox, which I have, but when I opened it, it was just promotions for other speakers. That's so weird. That wouldn't be my my ebook. So you know what, Bernadette, if you DM me your email address, I will email you a copy of it. And I'm so sorry to hear that. I can't imagine what happened. That's bizarre. So yeah. Oh, you know what? That might have been through Kristen's summit, Dr. Kristen Ryman, the Healing Grove. So maybe that's why it came through with that. There might have been a link in there to my ebook, possibly. But anyway, if you send me your info, I will get something to you. So Bernadette says, I have a cat, Yui, which greets me at the stairs every morning for her morning breakfast. I just yes, the patterns, the habits, the interconnectedness that we have with our pets. My cat Jewel, who is truly a jewel. She's the sweetest soul in the world, and Maggie bullies her pretty relentlessly, um, which is wild and challenging. But anyway, my cat Jewel and I have routines, and when she wants me to feed her, she will come and love me up. She will come and um, she will, let me pet her and make nice to her, and that is a prelude to, hey mom, I'm hungry. So it's pretty wild. um okay, Lisa's, you're giving me such a generous offer. I so appreciate that. I agree. Lisa says, remember, we create our own masters. 100%. 100%. I love that. Thank you, Lisa. I will do that. In fact, I'm gonna make a note to follow up with you, because I'm still learning this bird stuff, and she's teaching me in a lot of ways, and maybe I'm not the best student. So yeah, that would be great to get tutored on that. I appreciate it. So anyway, we're going back to oh, that's funny. Lisa says we create our own masters, and then amended it to say monsters. I get that. Oh my gosh, right? We're getting better. We are getting better. Like she's not been biting me nearly as often. She's got a couple weird things she does that I don't understand. But anyway, Grace Isis says, the language of calm, peace, words, and awareness of presence is the language of love that I hear. That's beautiful. Calm, peace, words, and awareness of presence. Perhaps first a vibration allowed to resonate within you/me, then words and posture, energy, 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 the language of awareness. That is masterfully said, Grace Isis. Really, really beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, presence. I guess we can't really talk about letting love in terms of being cherished and adored uh, without a conversation about intimacy. And so maybe that's where we're headed with this. So Elaine says, my interpretation and understanding of love has evolved over the years, which for me allows life to unfold as it is, and I don't judge it. I love because I am love and for no other reason. So those around me feel it in a way as it is safe to just be. Animals are our reflections of what true presence and just being looks like, and help us to remember the power of presence, which to me is unconditional love. Well, that is a mouthful, Elaine, and also magnificently said. So unconditional love is love that's not looking for anything in return. And the people around you experiencing your love because you're really present to them. And that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I find that I am able to give that love. And what I'm talking about today is that I just discovered that while I have connections and I receive the love that people, when people say I love you, that feels good. It's not, you know, it's a point of connection, but I'm talking about really letting that love in, like experiencing the open-hearted receptivity of that love. That's kind of what I'm addressing. And it was a surprise to see in myself that I couldn't really imagine experiencing being loved and cherished, perhaps on that intimate level, like to be fully and completely unconditionally loved and cherished. So Rosalind says attention to a thought form will keep repeating so we can watch and observe to let the love in. I think that becoming aware of these deep underlying patterns is the first step to shifting them, because now I have awareness of that. I can do work with it. I can it was for me becoming aware of something that I wasn't aware of. And I think there's so many different aspects to love. There's unconditional love. And then there's the romantic love and the intimacy of being engaged with somebody on a heartfelt level, ongoingly, to a level of presence. So Grace Isis says, perhaps loving self unconditionally is the first starting point. And yes, those patterns, correct first steps. Exactly. So I started the conversation by saying, certainly the first place is self-love, and to feel the love and appreciation for ourselves, deep self-acceptance. And I think I am there, that I've achieved. And what I recognize is that in an intimate context, I've had so many disappointments in life, or so many relationships that blew up in very painful ways in the past. This is past that I think that there's an issue around trusting love from others, trusting the constancy of love from others. And I think we get to probably talk about love a lot this week, because I think that there's such interesting dynamics that are part of it. And Bernadette says wounds can keep us protected from allowing the full embracement of love unconditionally. Exactly, Bernadette. I think that there's so much dependency that can arise from misdirected expectations of love. And I just remembered I have a client in a minute, so I have to run. And I love you. I so appreciate you. Now we're talking about depth of love, but I look forward to catching up with you again soon. So much love. I am sorry, but I have to run. Take care, and hopefully we'll continue this